see if I can do that.
Take a cruise by. He lives about,
Well, I liked,
he lives in Pontoon.
fruit and vegetables would be
The
fun.
brother that lives in Fairfield.
Alright,
That is cool.
let's not get started, and we'll just take the police last.
B, do any of them, and C.
We'll call this meeting to order for Friday, October 17th at 8:02. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Councilor Cormier,
Present.
Councilor Harder,
Present.
and Councilor Brooks.
Present.
First item on the agenda is reading of the minutes of prior meetings, August 28th, 2025, and September 12th, 2025.
I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of both meetings and approve them as presented.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Brooks, second by Councilor Harden to waive the reading of the minutes and accept them as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Department updates. We will skip the police department for the moment. We will move on to the building department.
Good morning. I'll start with staffing, and Tim continues to learn quickly and perform well as his role in local inspector. Our full-time local inspectors, or the second position, is still needing to be filled. Workload and operation. The inspector's workload has resulted in approximately a 3-week lead time for permit review and 2 to 3 wait for inspections. We're trying to keep it under 3 days though, because it's a long time to wait. Technology and systems. Councilor Craig Cormier, thank you for joining the GovWell exploratory meeting this week. This platform appears to be a strong fit for Gardner, and to everyone else, or police chief and fire chief, Angela was there. This is my plug for GovWell, and it's easier for both staff and residents to use, including unlimited support offers, and it offers advantages of having workflows professionally built for us. Residents will be able to ask questions directly to GovWell instead of going through us, reducing the burden on staff. The best part is they help you build the workflows, so it's not added to our plates or anyone in our staff's plate. And I'm really hoping that the other departments will give their input and be open to creating workflows that's consistent across the city. A fresh start would really help. The scanning project remains in the planning phase. Kathy Berger is gathering quotes for the building department, maintenance, and several others. Once finalized, I'm optimistic that we can create a phased plan that aligns with our long-term budget. I'm planning on going to Norwood to see the operation and work through some logistics in early November. And please reach out if anyone would like to join. Community development. I've really enjoyed working with Gardner residents and builders. The people here are down to earth, and our department is committing to making this permit process easier to navigate. I've noticed that the building department isn't being included early enough in the process across the board. This may be a result of the turnover in the building commissioner role. My hope is that other departments will begin to loop me in earlier, particularly during the planning stages, so we can identify issues proactively and keep projects on track. Needs and challenges. As I mentioned in my 30-day report, additional maintenance support remains a key need so I can fully focus on my responsibilities as building commissioner. Our efforts are moving in the right direction, but continued support and staffing consistency will be essential to sustain progress. And to improve coordination across departments, I'd like to establish a more, this must be my old draft. Oops. Yeah. So for needs and challenges, I guess I'd just like a little bit more guidance in how, hold on, I'm just gonna have to give myself a second because now my mind just went completely blank. So planning board has a committee that helps them or kind of checks in with them regularly. And I was wondering if that is something that we could start talking about for the building department.
Having a committee?
Yes. I'm not sure if this is the place to do that or not.
Okay. A council committee or?
Yes. That and I'm not sure if this is where I talk about my other responsibilities like ZBA and the building maintenance, or is that for a different check-in? Okay.
Talk about that here.
Oh, I can talk about that here? Okay, well, I'm working with Ray, of course, for ZBA, and the maintenance that I'm doing is consistently a problem, not just for a building commissioner, but for the ZBA part of it. I would like to be able to help the residents a little bit more in the process, because it's incredibly confusing, and even for some of us, so. And for maintenance, we have a workflow, and Angela was gracious enough to help me create that, so we can hopefully have people submitting requests through this, and then I'll be able to outsource. You know, if I have enough requests, then I can get somebody in here to help, like for a day, and that's what I was talking about yesterday, but with the mayor. And I think that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Thank you, Melissa. I think it's quite an undertaking for you to come in, and I think you're starting with virtually no staff, correct?
That's what it, well, yes.
Over the first couple of months.
Yes.
Between injuries and other things, that's what's happened. So there's a lot to handle.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say just keep at it. It'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
My experience in going into a new position, this is when I went into down in Pittsburgh, was to spend some time just figuring out what was going on and how things were working, and what my priorities were and stuff. I was probably a month into the job before I even kind of began to formulate what do I need to do and how do I need to do it. So I think your goals are ambitious, but I guess I would, as an old guy, counsel that you know, just relax. There's time, and make sure the basic job is getting done, and then as that gets done, you begin to work the other issues that need to be fixed.
So,
And I'll stop with that. The other piece I would say is that if you have questions, your direct report is the mayor. And to me, that's the person you should be talking to as a committee. I think we're here, not even as oversight, we're just here to learn about what, and I forget the word that we've used in the council rules. We have charge of the issues that come before the city council.
Right. It's more just, it's not oversight because you don't necessarily have any power over it.
Right. We don't really have any oversight. As you want to do things, in my opinion, that should be directed to the mayor, because he's in charge of city government, of the city departments and so on. And we can be a source of information, we can be support along the way. But if you want to make changes and so on, in my opinion, that goes to the mayor.
that's helpful.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes.
That was very well put, Calvin. I would say, we spoke a few times on the phone. I've called you about my ward. And I think he said it perfectly. I mean, all you can do is take day by day. And every day you'll learn something new. And after a while, it will get easier, we hope. But thank you for taking this on.
Oh, my pleasure.
And like Calvin said, you know, it's an executive function, but we can offer whatever support, even if it's just an extra voice in your corner, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, Kessler, you mentioned my primary role, focusing on that first, and to me, it seems like they're all pretty important, and if nobody does it, it won't get done. So, I mean, that's my perspective on like the scanning project and getting everyone on the same system. So that's a perspective, but I think they might be kind of in alignment. But I will talk to the mayor about that. Okay.
Thank you. Fire department?
Morning. Okay, on the personnel side, we are fully staffed. All positions are still filled at this time. The three new recruit firefighters that I let you know about last month, they did graduate the academy. They're assigned to regular shifts as part of the firefighting force, and they came before the council at the last meeting for swearing in. We continue to have one firefighter that is on modified duty due to an on-the-job injury with still no anticipated return date at this time. So we are fully staffed and just that the one position out on leave, so the staffing situation is right now looking good and continuing to be stable. And along with that, both fire and ambulance overtime expenditures during the first quarter of the fiscal year were extremely high due to the vacancies. And now, the last few weeks, they've stabilized and come down where we're close to full staffing. So it's definitely slowed down, and hopefully that trend will continue through the rest of the year. On the grant side of things, we received some excellent news on September 24th. The application for the FY 2024 FEMA AFG Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program for new portable radios was approved. The amount of the award is $363,000, $941.96. This will provide the funding needed to replace our current 15-year-old radios that we're using with new state-of-the-art fire service rated portable radios, which are a absolute critical lifeline for firefighters that are operating in hazardous locations or conditions. So with this grant, there is a 10% match required by FEMA of local funds. So the 10% amount for the city is going to be $33,085.64. So I would anticipate in the not too distant future, there'll probably be a free cash request coming up for that before the council. That I am tickled that we finally landed this award. It's much needed money to replace obsolete equipment, obsolete important equipment. And this was our fourth application under the program, and I'm just very happy that we landed at this time. Of course, right now, we're kind of in a holding pattern because the federal government is shut down. So I'm working on getting specs finalized and programming and everything like that. So as soon as we get the go-ahead from FEMA, that we'll be able to go ahead and place the order and make the purchase. And compared to a lot of other fire equipment that we've ordered over the last few years, there's a pretty short lead time on these radios. They're saying 6 to 8 weeks. So this one should be completed and done in a relatively short period of time compared to all the other major purchases that the fire department's done over the last few years. So that's great news for fire department operations and the safety of the men and women working over there. On the fleet side of the department, the council recently approved the $25,000 to purchase the used ambulance from the town of Westminster. So that's great for ambulance operations. The purchase will be completed once Westminster takes delivery of their new ambulance, which is expected right around the first of the year now. The used ambulance that we'll be purchasing, it's a 2016 Chevrolet chassis with a Braun ambulance module on it. It will serve as a backup to the current 2024 and 2018 units that we have in service right now. The 2018 model Rescue 4 continues to be out of service for mechanical issues, including a replacement of the turbo on the motor, and also now we've had an electronic module control failure, which we have about a 4-week lead time on that. So once again, lead times for parts to keep these trucks in service is a challenge. So having this backup ambulance will be a very good safety net for the city. And the headquarters roof replacement project, work is now underway on the interior to complete repairs to the damaged areas of the ceiling in the apparatus garage. Previous temporary repairs are being removed, damaged insulation is being replaced, and new drywall and plaster being installed. And when all that work is complete, the entire ceiling will be painted. It's moving along at a very good pace, and with the goal of completing this before real cold winter weather sets in. And the important goal here is to reduce the cost of heating that apparatus garage, because it's been exorbitant over the last couple of years because of the lack of insulation and stuff in areas where it was damaged and had to be removed due to contamination concerns. So we're hoping that's going to be done within the next few weeks, and be able to cross that project off the list completely. So that's good. And that's my brief report this month. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. The grant for the radios, you said it's a FEMA grant?
Correct.
Which is a federal grant?
Yes.
And are we at all concerned about the money suddenly not being there? Given the fact that we are in a blue state? And you know, just in reading, there have been a lot of comments made both about FEMA and federal.
Yeah, so, I mean, my understanding at this point is that this is, you know, funding from FY '24 that's approved and in place.
Okay.
The city's contracted grant writers worked with me on this too,
Yeah.
so I'll definitely give them a plug that they assisted on this grant, and this was the year it was approved, so, and their information that they have is that the AFG program is not in danger of being cut.
Okay, good.
What they said is it's a very popular program, a very, you know, needed program, and they didn't feel there was any concern with it.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Perfect, certainly.
No questions, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Chief.
you're welcome.
All right, public health.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So we'll start off with our staffing updates. We have had vacancies for both of our admin positions. So we offered the position for the full-time administrative assistant to someone who will be starting on Tuesday. So we still have a vacancy that we're looking to fill, at least part-time, for an administrative coordinator to provide assistance to the newly hired administrative assistants. The transfer station supervisor, as of yesterday, has retired, so there's going to be a vacancy there. And I have submitted my resignation, which will be, my last day is gonna be next Friday, the 24th. So Angela will be the acting director once that happens, and I have complete confidence in her and her abilities to do the health director position, even on a full-time permanent basis, if that's what gets decided, but she's fully capable of handling that role, as long as she's supported by the number of staff that we need. It's been extremely busy in the health department office. We get phone calls constantly throughout the day, like every 5 to 10 minutes we're getting a phone call about something new, some problem that we have to go inspect and address. So we are stretched extremely thin and going to be even more so for the next little bit here. So we're still working on bringing in applicants for the part-time position, and we'll start looking at what we're going to do as far as restructuring or hiring somebody else at the transfer station to replace the supervisor. So I think the health department may need additional assistance from other departments for some of the administrative tasks that are kind of citywide for the interim while we're getting back to fully staffed. For budget, the biggest challenge is going to be the leachate collection system at the landfill. We completed the bid process. We got one bid for an amount of $224,828 to completely repair and replace the leachate collection system. We currently only have about $115,000 available for that, but it is a critically needed repair. The system is at its very end of its life stages. We're currently having the leachate pumped via a pump truck on about a bi-weekly basis, and we're having to physically monitor the leachate levels continually throughout each week, just to make sure that it all stays contained within the system. So we're going to be definitely needing to get this project done. We're going to be needing the additional funds to cover those repairs. And also DEP, I've been updating them about the situation, so they're well aware and monitoring the situation as well, and just will be continuing to do that as we go forward. The landfill also has a need for erosion control repairs, which there's currently no funding. The last estimate for that was around $200,000 for repairs to the let-down channels on the landfill cap. We have, after negotiating with a few different trash companies, we've decided to continue using E.L. Harvey for curbside collection. We were able to negotiate them down to a much better price, and decided that along with the continuity of service and their willingness to help us with the transfer station improvements in getting trash compactors out there will definitely help with transfer station costs. A reduction in trip fees will not take too long to actually kind of pay for itself as far as whatever costs are incurred when putting in the compactors. That's also going to increase safety for residents, because we can kind of eliminate the situation we have now where you're climbing up to the edge of a big open container, and there is a fall risk associated with that. So yeah, we will be continuing with E.L. Harvey for the next contract, which is 2026 to 2031. For food establishments, we haven't had any new foodborne illness complaints since the last update at the last meeting. For Title V and wells, the Board of Health voted on new well regulations for private wells. with the main difference in that being the addition of PFAS to the water quality testing requirements. So I think that's a really timely change that we made. And the new private well regulations are going to go into effect on January 1st of 2026. We haven't had any recent alcohol or tobacco violations. We're essentially at the end of the arboviral season, so the risk for Triple E and West Nile virus is going to stay low. We definitely recommend people still use precautions, especially on warmer evenings if they're doing something outside. But the recent weather has been extremely helpful in keeping the mosquito population low. And then we have also had, we're having a total of 3 flu and COVID vaccine clinics. We've already had 2, one at the PACC, one at the Banal House. We're having one at City Hall on October 20th from 9 to 12. That's going to be open to the public and any city staff. COVID vaccine was not available for the very first clinic, but it was available for the Banal House clinic. It will be available for the City Hall clinic coming up. As far as additional challenges, we have had a recent kind of dramatic uptick in bed bug cases around town. And they seem to be compounded by difficulties with that it's normally impacts a lot of seniors who are single and unable to kind of perform the necessary tasks that are associated with their responsibilities when it comes to a bed bug infestation. So moving furniture, bagging up clothes, laundering everything, possibly getting rid of furniture. We have a lot of individuals who are just don't have the capabilities to handle that or have the capabilities to recognize the severity of what's happening to them. And we're kind of struggling to find any resources for these individuals as far as assisting them with carrying out those instructions for bed bugs. It's kind of a two-way problem where the responsibility for treatment falls on the landlord or property owner, but the occupants also have responsibilities as far as addressing their own personal belongings and sanitation within their unit. So we are working with property owners and occupants and trying to get them as much help as we can, but we do need, there's a need there for additional assistance for people who are just lacking the capabilities to handle that. And then I lastly just wanted to add that I definitely support any kind of changes from OpenGov to GovWell. We've been able to make OpenGov work for us because of Angela. She's kind of a magician with that, but it's definitely kind of a lot of customization and very specific editing of forms that it seems like GovWell would kind of eliminate some of that and definitely streamline the processes. And then as well as the file scanning project, we have a whole lot of files that have been sitting and just taking up space in our office, and they're very difficult. Takes a lot of time just when we get a lot of public records requests, so it's very time consuming to go through those and try and find things and scan them and get them ready for those records requests. So I definitely support that project as well, and that's all I have. I'm going to hand it over to Angela for some of her updates.
Yeah, so I just wanted to expand on what Micah said about the staffing shortage in the Board of Health, because I do feel like it is a public health and safety concern. We have been short one administrator for almost 9 months. We had a full-time person who left the position back in February. The position was not refilled, was not filled, was not advertised. We were told after the fiscal budget was approved that we would be able to consider whether or not we'd be able to fill that position. And even though I've been advocating for that position to be posted at either a full-time or part-time capacity, it just got posted this week when the other administrator gave her notice. And the reason she gave her notice was because she was overwhelmed. She had taken on about 50% of the tasks, including learning Munis and paying the bills and receiving, AR, AC. And she became overwhelmed. She felt like she reached her maximum ability to do the job, and she felt like she was not doing enough. I took on the other half of those tasks from the full-time position. And for the last 30 days, I've been serving as the only person who's doing most of the administrative tasks that our inspectors were not trained for, and our director has never done because it's not part of the job. The only reason I know how to do it is because I was the administrator in the office before I became the assistant director. And I know we say we have somebody who's starting next Tuesday. She has limited public health experience. She has no city municipal experience. She does have a lot of administrative experience, so I do have hope. But that hope is in the training and the ability to support her and not overwhelm her and set a good foundation for her so that we don't lose her almost immediately like we have done in the past. And my other question would be, if the funding is there, if we were fully funded for 2 full-time people, why are we posting a part-time position, especially when our other administrator is brand new coming into the office? Why are we looking for somebody to work 19 hours a week when I need a full-time person? And we are still short-staffed with the director leaving. I'll be taking over those responsibilities. And the transfer station supervisor, our other inspector, has taken over those duties. So we are all already stretched very thin before Brandy left and before Micah leaves. So I would like to ask, because it is a public health safety concern, for any advice or any help from any of the city departments that are willing to offer. And I want to thank Melissa McDonald, our new building commissioner, for already offering some assistance with her staff training one of our new staff members on Munis so that it can be done correctly, thoughtfully, thoroughly, so that it's not stressful, so that it's not done in error where it makes more challenges for many other departments like the treasurer, the auditor, me, so that the bills can get paid and keep the doors open in our office. And I'm just very concerned about this, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I have comments, but I can hear the stress in your voice.
Thank you.
It's got, going to work every day is, we do it.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to go in there and tackle that kind of stress, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the Board of Health is a very, very important to the city and its people. I call quite a bit about my ward.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some interesting problems that you have constantly helped me with, and I want to thank you. I don't, rat problems and trash problems, and I could just go on down the list,
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, so you're saying that they're trying to hire someone for 19 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
but you need a full-time person.
The position was historically a full-time position
And why is it-
for a
may I
senior
ask-
administrator.
May I ask you that? Why do you think that's changed? I mean, you don't know? You don't know?
I have ideas, but I don't have direct knowledge. I hate to speculate in a public forum.
I will try to get some answers on that.
One thing that I neglected to mention, that while Eric and I, the inspector and the assistant director, are doing the coverage for these tasks, inspections are not being performed. That is actually the public safety challenge that I speak of. We cannot get inspections done on a timely manner. I think I've done 3 food inspections in the last 30 days, and they were for the Gardner Public Schools, which is required for their FDA funding, because I'm doing all the administrative tasks. And when I'm not covering the front office, Micah's covering the front office or Eric's covering the front office, so I can do financial tasks with focus and attention to detail.
Like I said, I will do some homework with this, okay?
I appreciate that, thank you.
And sir, will be missed.
Oh, thank
Wish
you.
the best.
You'll be very missed by me, a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just to agree with my fellow counselor here, Mike, we will miss you. And I wish you well in wherever you're headed,
Thank you.
that enriches your life additionally. And I wish you well. I do see that there's challenges within the health department. I was having a conversation with someone, and it was similar to what I had expressed earlier in the meeting, that to me, the first responsibility lies with the mayor, that the mayor oversees all departments. And I was reminded that the health department can be a little different because technically it reports to the Board of Health and not the mayor and all that. Okay, fine, but I still think it's executive responsibility to make sure things are running, that the city departments are running smoothly. I think we have to provide some oversight, and I think we can do some, you know, if there's things that are out of line, we can certainly come in and look at things. But I don't want to find us in a position where we're airing out grievances that are going on with departments and what's going on in the city in kind of a public forum. And we're not. But I just don't want to keep moving in that direction. I think that it's more like, okay, there's a problem here, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
And not carry on. I think, you know, an answer as to what positions should be there would be looking at the budget and saying what was funded in the budget. Did they fund two administrative positions or 1.5? That's the first. That should be an easy answer. And then I think it's important to begin to refill this department, just as we have started to do with the building department, just as we have done with the community development department. And getting those departments back up and running in good shape. We do have some challenges. The landfill challenge certainly is going to be interesting because there is no funding for it. There's no funding source, there's no stream of revenue that's coming out of the city budget. And we have an obligation to make sure that the landfill site stays, I want to use the word clean, and I know we're pumping out leachate, but clean in the sense that it's not contributing to worsening conditions around it, that we're maintaining what we have to maintain and taking care of it. And that's a responsibility the city took on years ago when we closed the landfill. One question on solid waste. Where is the solid waste going now when it's being transported out? Do we know where it's going?
Like from the transfer station and curbside?
Curbside. Where does curbside? Does it go to Fitchburg or does it go further out?
I think it goes
Fitchburg and Shrewsbury.
Fitchburg, and then eventually it ends up in another state, like Alabama or Ohio is where its final destination usually is.
Is it
So
really?
there's
Okay.
almost no open landfills in Massachusetts anymore.
Okay.
They're working on closing more, and there's challenges with, we have Wheel Liberator, the waste to energy facility,
Yep.
kind of has maxed out capacity, and there's some environmental concerns with that. So at the moment, our trash eventually gets shipped out of state after it gets processed in Fitchburg or their other facility, I think in Westboro or Westford.
Westboro, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know Fitchburg landfill could be close to closing.
It is, the last I heard was that it should be closing in the next 5 years.
So in other words, the trash in the state is going away.
Yes.
How's that? All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, and I will also wish you well in your future endeavors, and we will offer whatever support we can, and our voices to yours to just make sure that the department is being supported in every way it possibly can. Thank you, Commissioner McDonald, for your assistance. We appreciate that too. All right, and just feel free to reach out and keep reaching out to us.
I will. I've included several people in my communications, including Human Resources and the mayor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief.
Since our last update a month ago, there actually has been quite a bit of activity. We received notification that we'll be making obviously this meeting won't be posted till later, so we're going to do a press release on a grant we received that will be making our domestic violence advocate full-time. This has been something that's been in the plans, in the works for quite some time. We had identified it as a large need in the community, as it is a concern here and a problem. So that's going to be some exciting news we're doing later on. We have the perfect person in the position already. She's willing, she wants to go full-time, and this is going to make her full-time. She's a true asset to this community, and I can't be happier that this is going to be happening. We also received notification that we got our annual municipal road safety grant, $31,000. That's for mobilizations, and also I receive a lot of asks for electronic speed signs now in people's neighborhoods. Seems to be the thing that people want now, but they're usually $4,000 to $5,000 a piece. So we've been writing them into the grants as we can for equipment pieces for the last few years. So as we identify areas, we've been trying to put them out there as well. Staffing, that's what our biggest issue has been, and for the last month we've been focusing on trying to hire for the last few positions. So we've had a couple rounds of interviews. We just finished yesterday. We've identified several viable candidates. Very pleased. We'll be making conditional offers next week, obviously based on how well they do through the process, but we're hoping to get them on into an academy early next year. Additionally, I appreciate the support from the council regarding the body camera. That contract has been signed. It's currently in process, and my hope is to have body cameras deployed no later than January 1st of '26. Obviously, there's a training piece to it, so once we receive them, we have to train. We have to make sure that the unions are also, we have to agree with the policies, which we have been working with them all along. So there's never been an issue with that. Budget-wise, I have been short. Obviously, I have collective bargaining obligations I have to fill with time off as well, so overtime is depleting very quickly. I'm near my $200,000 limit, well, what I was budgeted for this year. My average usually for the last few years is a little over $400,000, and I don't suspect that will ever go down. A lot of that is we do receive reimbursement funding for that, so that number is probably a little bit smaller than I think it was 426 last year. I think it's a little bit smaller than that because we do receive reimbursements from the DEA, Municipal Road Safety, Shannon, so a lot of that stuff is brought back into the budget, the city coffers. Animal control is very stable right now. The three animal control officers are functioning very, very well. The brand new officer has hit the ground running. She's doing fantastic. Dispatch also is very stable right now. We're only one short. This is the most stable I've seen it since a little over 3 years I've been in the position. So I'm very pleased with that. Civil defense is our other major project. I think I had mentioned it previously. We're using encumbered funds and some encumbered grant funds and things like that to finish that kitchen. That was supposed to be done when the initial building was completed, but it had to be cut due to budget cuts. So it's been sitting there for the last 10 years doing nothing. So we've been able to put together some money, and Monty Tech will be finishing the project for us. I've been working with the building commissioner to address if there's any ADA issues, things like that, because we want to make sure that, I don't want to do it again. I want to make sure it's done correctly the first time. So, but everything else is about the same this last month, but I'd be happy to take any questions or any concerns or anything.
None today, but thank you for what you do.
Councilor.
It's not easy.
I'm all set, thank you.
Any questions? Thank you for the update. If you haven't already, can you just make sure you please email the clerk and myself with your updates provided today? Okay. Next item on the agenda, under old business, 11552, communication from the traffic commission regarding the number of vehicles towed in the city's winter parking ban procedures. There is an ordinance that has been written, it has been provided with the law department and is still under review with the law department. So pending that, we will ask for more time if there's no objection. Item 11692, communication with the traffic management relative to a measure to adopt MGL Chapter 90, Section 17C, establishing a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit in thickly settled or business district in the city or town. Doing some research, we found that this was actually adopted by the city council in 2021. So we have accepted that. I believe the only step that needs to be done is the traffic commission needs to notify the Mass Department of Transportation that we've adopted it, and if they have a list of specific streets, it can either be townwide or specific streets. They have a list of specific streets, so they need to provide that to the Department of Transportation as well. All the other towns that have adopted this have not codified which streets for the city, so I don't believe we need to either. I believe it's all just with the traffic commission now.
So I guess if we have no further action, I would move to place this item on file.
Recommended by Councilor Brooks, second by Councilor Harder to move to place the item on file for full council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. We have no items for some of the agenda. Councilors, questions, concerns, or comments?
I don't have enough of a day to listen to all my concerns, but thank you.
I'm all set, thank you.
Take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Councilor Harmon, second by Councilor Brooks to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone.